We have our next sponsor, BizSecure Labs, or popularly known as NPAV. He's our gold sponsor. This will be our third presentation. Mr. Aditya Kela, the Director Technical, will take over. Mr. Aditya, thank you very much and welcome to ASIRT. All yours, sir.
शुरू करें? सुनाई दे रहा है पीछे? ऐकू देते का मागे? ओके, चालेल. Hi everyone, so I'm Aditya Kela from Net Protector. So this presentation will be a brief overview of all our products on the corporate side. So I'll go very briefly over each product, and if you have questions you can ask me during the talk or after. So yeah, for those who are new or for those who don't know, so BizSecure Labs has been in the cybersecurity domain for almost 30 years. So our head office is in Pune. We have a local office in Mumbai also. And currently we have around 25,000 partners in the retail and corporate segments. So these are the directors. So there are 4 directors. So Sanjeev Kela handles the sales and marketing, and Sumit Kela handles the R&D. Shaila handles the finance, and Preeti handles the HR. So yeah, so just an overview. So these are the industries that we cater to, and all of the products that our industry classifies into. So yeah, so very brief introduction about the company. So the company was started in 1989. So it dealt with customized hardware and software initially. And in 2003, so the development of cybersecurity products started, especially anti-spamware and anti-malware. So anti-spamware was our first product. So this was when people used to host their own email gateways. And since everything was very new, so they required, everything was very new and everything was very open, so spam was very frequent. So we started from anti-spamware, and then we launched anti-malware. And then over the years, currently, now we have a team of 300 people. We have a separate new R&D lab in Pune, and we have sales offices in almost every major city in India. So these are our awards and certifications, so I'll just go through them very quickly. These are some of our customers. Yeah, so NPAV officially falls into the Make in India certification. And we'll start with our products. So the first set of products for the end user and corporate. So some of these products, so I'll start with products that are used both in retail and corporate. So the first set is Total Security. So that is our anti-malware engine, and currently works with Windows devices. So Linux and Mac devices are in development, and they should be launched, I think, so they're in beta now. They should be launched in, I think, 3 months officially. So Z Security is our premium product, so premium malware engine, and it also comes with 10 GB cloud backup combined. And Total Server Protection is a server protection anti-malware engine for the Windows Server. So it doesn't currently support any Linux OS or Mac OS. So these are our corporate products. So the first and most popular is endpoint security. So endpoint security, there are 2 versions. One is on-premises and on cloud. Corporate web control. So this product is used for deciding policies for internal office use. And web firewall gateway. So this prevents access to malicious websites. So these are our new corporate set of products. So the first is Krypton Enterprise Backup. So this enterprise backup allows data backup in 3 layers. So one will be a local backup, another will be a LAN-based backup. So if you have a LAN server or a NAS, and lastly, it will take a cloud backup. So all of these, so it takes all these 3 sequentially, automatically. So if any one of your client is looking for data backup solutions, so we'll have an agent running on their client PC, which takes local, LAN and cloud backup at the same time. So we provide 3 layers of data backup for ransomware and other such malicious programs. So we're also launching Password Vault Manager. So this is basically a vault password manager for organizations. So anything from 5 users to or higher. And Secure RDP Manager. So for people who don't know RDP, so RDP is Windows protocol, so Remote Desktop Protocol, wherein you can, if I use this PC, I can log into the PC of the presenter and then control everything from this PC. So what we do is we wrap a security layer on top of RDP. So increasingly we are seeing that hackers will take customer support calls for unknown, so especially older people, where they'll get access to the local PC using RDP, and they'll do sorts of very different sorts of malicious things. So if there's bank data on the computer, or if there's any such financial information, so RDP gives you full access. So to prevent something like that, we're launching a security wrapper on top of the Windows Remote Desktop Protocol. So Windows 10 Boost is mainly for the retail and the corporate side, so it's a bit of a hybrid product. And Windows 10 Boost is, so the name is changed to Windows Boost, so we've added support for 7, 8, 10 and 11. So very briefly, so I'll go in detail for Windows Boost, but very briefly what it does, it speeds up your Windows PC. So Total Mobile Security is our Android product. Currently it supports, so it's a anti-malware engine for the Android platform, and an anti-malware engine for the Mac OS is currently under development. And EduSafe Firewall is more on the retail side. So this is a product for especially young kids, parents of young kids, to monitor and basically a firewall for children on their Android phones. And these are 2 new products. They're both in beta. So one is a dock locker. So it takes for Android. So it'll save all of your important documents, encrypted, cloud backup, and so on. And Society Guard is kind of in the middle of development, so it's not your society as in a residential society, but gate pass software for corporate usage. So if you have any corporate customer that has a building that needs gate pass software, RFIDs, POSA cards, and so on, so we manage that through the Society Guard software. Yeah, so like I said, so now I'll go very briefly into each product. So Windows 10 Boost, so the name has been changed to Windows Boost because we've added support from 7, 8, 10 and 11. So what it does basically is it just, so especially after Windows 10, so Windows 10 and Windows 11, so there'll be a lot of telemetry data that Windows sends to the servers. So even if your computer is running idle, every action or every process, all of the telemetry data Windows automatically sends to Windows' server. So the telemetry processes itself use RAM and CPU, and sending the telemetry to Windows' servers use bandwidth. So one major thing that we do is we completely stop telemetry, Windows telemetry. So no data is taken from your local PC and sent to the Windows server. So this frees up a lot of CPU and RAM, and also internet bandwidth. The second thing we do is, if you opt in, you can remove the Windows app store processes. So especially since Windows 10 and in Windows 11, so Windows is promoting their Windows App Store very heavily as an alternative to Google Play Store and iTunes. So what they do is they keep track of every application and website that you open, and then they suggest other applications that might interest you. So if you opt in, you can remove this background process, which saves a lot of CPU and RAM also. And other than that, we have some very so essential things like duplicate files. If you have duplicate files, it will show you all the duplicate files in the dashboard. And a very interesting thing is we're adding fast search. So what Windows 11 has done is in their search bar, you now not only see just your files but also suggestions. So for applications that you don't own, if you search say PDF, so instead of just having your local PDFs in the Windows search, you'll also find Windows App Store suggestions for PDF openers. So to prevent all of this, we've just made a wrapper on the file system that gives you access to only your local file system search without any advertisements or suggestions from Windows. So yeah, this is what currently the dashboard looks like, and every action is opt-in. So if you don't want to opt in certain things, you can choose not to. So this, so on the commercial side, so this product mainly is used by refurbished laptop and refurbished PC retailers and distributors. And we're currently also seeing this pick up in government institutes. So for government contracts that have slightly older PCs, we're seeing a lot of adoption for Windows telemetry cancellation. So this is a product that falls into those commercial specifications. So the next product is EduSafe Firewall. So like it says, so it's a firewall for education. So basically it's an Android application for parents of young children who want to monitor the internet usage, YouTube usage, and so on. So very simply, these are the features. So you can see Google searches of the child. You can see YouTube tracker, so YouTube video searches. You can add and remove URLs from policies. So this is a firewall. And you can get reports every time, so weekly reports, monthly reports, and so on, of both the time usage and all of the URLs that have been accessed. So this is what the application looks like. So now I'll go to the corporate side. So Krypton Enterprise Backup. So these, like I said, so there are 3 layers of backups. So one is the local backup on the file system. One is another, so second level backup on the LAN, if you have a NAS or a LAN server. And third is a cloud-based backup. So whichever cloud your client supports, be it AWS, Azure, GCP, Backblaze, Tencent, and so on. Yeah, so 3 layers of backup. So we are also adding SQL Server and other SQL database management backups. So MySQL, Postgres, SQL Server. We also have the option of encryption. So if you want a particular encryption, say, so if your client requires SHA-256, that's there. If your client requires ID 2559, that's there. So whichever customized encryption software, we can do that for the client. And currently it supports Windows 7 to 11, but we're also building the Linux and Mac client. So next is the Z Security. So this is the basic, so this is the anti-malware engine for on the premium anti-malware engine. So Z Security takes a set of local backups of the data, and it has a 5-layer ransomware engine, so anti-ransomware engine. So where your data is taken both on the local file server, so it's also encrypted on the folder level, on the file system level, and on the LAN level. And on top of that, we have a malware detection and a heuristic detection engine. So currently, so there's a scheme running for JFM, which I'll get into more detail at the end of the talk. So it's a very brief 2 seconds required. But so the dealer price right now is not 975. So we've decided to reduce it to 750. And I'll get to the scheme at the end of the talk. Yeah, so just one point. So we have insurance built in for this product. So if we find any ransomware attack when this product is installed, so if the product is installed and there is a ransomware attack, we'll reimburse some. So we have a 50,000 rupee guarantee. Yeah, so Z Security, the other feature that we have is it takes automatic tally backup or financial data backup on cloud for 10 GB free. So for 750, the dealer price, you'll get both the anti-malware engine, the anti-ransomware engine, and 10 GB cloud backup for financial services, be it tally or other CRMs. If there's a custom CRM that the client uses, we can cater to that too. Right, so this is our main corporate product, so the highest selling product currently. So endpoint security. So this is basically a malware engine and a firewall and a backup all built into one, depending on which EPS. So the lowest level to the highest level, there are a set of features. So I'll go through the average, so the middle EPS level very quickly. So yeah, so it's basically like a centralized reporting of the anti-malware engine, the data backup engine, and the firewall. So system admins can look at every activity that's happened, be it any application that's opened on the client PC's URL access, or whether there's a data backup taken or not. So application control level is native on the Windows OS. So if there's, so you can specify a set of applications that are so only those applications will be open. So web firewall is same as the firewall, so software-based firewall. So you specify a set of policies, and only those URLs will be allowed. So ransomware engine, protection is built in, just like Z Security. And backup, so for EPS we take 2 levels of backup on the file system and on the LAN. If there is a requirement for cloud backup, we can accommodate that. So yeah, very quickly, so I think sysadmins, the main requirement for EPS is customized logging. So we have a sequence of, we have a set of logs that have been frequently used. If there is another format that the log submission is required, so we can also work and customize for a different format. So yeah, I think, so like I said, so IPS and IDS is intrusion detection system or prevention system, so this is inbuilt in the anti-malware engine. And what we've added also is a live chat with the sysadmin. So if you have, say, multiple clients, say 500 or something, so raising a ticket through EPS is possible, so from the software itself. And the sysadmin gets a queue of tickets which he can then resolve. So there's a ticketing system, IT support ticketing system built in. And currently we're also adding password management. So we're taking parts of the software that we've written for the password vault manager, and we're adding it to the EPS. So the organization can also manage their passwords right from the native software. So this is what the client looks like on the native Windows PC. Yeah, and if anyone wants a demo, please feel free to ask me, so we can arrange for a demo for EPS or any of the products required. So the next product, I'll go, so very briefly, so the CWC is corporate web control. So this is basically like a firewall, but on the internal side. So instead of having instead of blocking your malicious URLs, so you give a set of policies which and only those URLs will be applicable in the organization. So CWC and firewall basically go together, and we're combining both. So right now it's in the middle of development, and then after that the net protector firewall will contain both CWC and firewall. So yeah, firewall, I think everyone knows. I'll go very briefly over it. So yeah, you can set department-wise policies. You can set organization-level policies. You have category-wise blocking. So you can specify categories. You can specify departments. So it's a Cartesian product of both department and category. And centralized web console for sysadmins for taking reports and so on. Yeah, and you can have both a graphical report and item-wise report if that is required. So yeah, this is what the client looks like on the Windows PC. And this is, so I'll just very briefly go through what the web server looks like. So I think, yeah, so basically I think you just add policies in the policy management. You have an ignore list and a whitelist, and reports are generated into 4 categories. So you have user reports, group reports, custom reports, and sequential reports. And sequential reports can both be sent automatically to your sysadmin or to your security center, or they can just be downloaded onto the server. So this is just a graphical representation of the organization's URL statistics. Yeah, if you have any questions in the middle, please feel free to ask. So yeah, that was web firewall. So I'll very briefly go over password vault manager. So password vault manager is just that. So it manages all the passwords for all of your users in the organization. So password is not shared among the users. So sysadmin has the access, and every end user has just access to their own passwords. पोर्ट्स भी ब्लॉक कर सकते हैं, उसमें स्पेसिफाई करते आएगा आपको कौन से पोर्ट्स ब्लॉक करना है. So it's blocking on the native client. So if your PC, so even if the firewall allows it, if your router allows it, so the port on the PC is blocked, so it won't be able to access. So it's on the native end firewall. Yeah. So there is an option to have it on the server, so we can do that also. But so the client that I showed, so this is the OS level client on the end user PC. Yeah, endpoint firewall. So there are there is an option to have it on the server also. So in that case, the client, so the users will not get an endpoint client. So it will be managed on the server only, and the sysadmin can do that. So on the server it will be same. So on the both on the native OS, on the endpoint and on the server, you can block both URLs and sockets. Yeah, so they are encrypted backups, and so it can be chosen. So if the organization requires SHA-256 encryption, that is fine. If the organization requires, so there was SHA-1 which was obsolete now. So there is some requirements for elliptic key cryptography. So I think in the defense sector or something. So we do all of that too. So any customized encryption algorithm, we can do the backup. With the space? So there are incremental backups. So difference of the file. So there is a file that I'm writing, and once that file is done, So there'll be a first initial encrypted backup. And after the next day, if I open the file and I add a letter, so the difference is added to the backup encryption.
So that means whenever customer has a data, say for example, he has a accounting package or whatever the application, the database size is of 50 GB.
Yeah.
He's nowadays, as you know, most of the endpoints are opting towards getting into SSD, and
Yes.
SSD are 256, 512, that's the
Yeah.
common usage.
Yes.
So in your case, when you talk about you're taking backup on the local, it will definitely utilize the double the space. I mean, it is increasing the demand of the storage space, and that is nowadays with SSD it is reduced.
Yeah,
Isn't
so,
it?
sorry, go ahead, please.
Yeah. My question is that simple. I mean, why do we increase the size on the endpoints for taking the backups?
So all of the three levels are opt-in. So if you don't want a native endpoint backup, that's fine. So we'll take it on the LAN server. If you still don't want it on the LAN server, we can take it only on the cloud backup. So we'll preserve the encryption on three levels and everything is opt-in. So if there's extreme space requirements, then we definitely recommend not taking it on the endpoint. So we give you a set of, while installing, we'll ask the sysadmin or the end user what files they want to back up, and we'll only cater to those. So if there is a set of folders that you want to back up, then we can do it. Or if the entire C drive or D drive or anything is required, we can also do that. But when installing for the first time, we'll ask a set of folders so that not to completely exhaust your backup sizes. So if I take the entire C drive backup, I don't want a 256 GB encrypted blob right next to my files. So we'll only take specific folders. But if the requirement is that we want the entire folder backed up, that is also possible. So currently that is not there, but we are seeing that requirement. So especially, what we used to do earlier was we used to take a virtual machine encrypted compressed backup and then restart it. So on the end user side, this is not there in the product yet, but we are seeing that and we are looking in that direction. Yeah, please.
We taken on the
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So there are two ways. So one, either you specify a folder or you specify extensions. So if an extension is specified, it will go through all the extensions in all the drives and then take backups of those. And if you want extensions in only a specific folder, that is also possible. So it's a combination of extension and folder. And if you don't specify anything, it will take the entire drive backup. Yeah, so the client will keep running. So right now there are no notifications, but the sysadmin gets notifications of every backup. But if the client requires a notification, that can be added in the software.
this can be taken on OneDrive also, or we can take it on your cloud only.
So OneDrive also. So we'll require the API key of OneDrive. So the master Windows 365 API key. So if the customer is willing to give that, so that we can take it on their OneDrive. So each end user will have backup to only their
But
OneDrive.
we can configure it from our end, or we'll have to get it done from you.
So initially we'll have to do it, and once the API key is added to the system, then the sysadmin can take care of everything else.
Okay. And if we, while installing, if we don't configure it, and later if we want to configure it, can we do that?
Yeah. So our engineer will come down to your office and set it up during the. So even if it's 6 months, 1 year or something, that's fine.
Okay.
So any other questions? Okay, so if not, I'll go ahead, and if you have any questions, you can interrupt me or you can ask me later. So yeah, so I was going through Password Vault Manager. So this is basically a manager for password for end users of the organization. So each end user sees only their passwords, and the sysadmin can access all of them. So activity audit and track of password changes. So certain financial customers require that every endpoint password, whenever it's changed, that log needs to be maintained. So we maintain logs of every password change, update, and so on. If there's an endpoint that is added to the system, we maintain log of when the first new endpoint is added and when the password was changed. Passwords are secure and encrypted. So even if a hacker gets access to the password file, they won't be able to decrypt it. And regular passwords backup. So we'll take this password backup same. So we'll on the LAN or on the cloud. So whichever is required. So I'll go to Secure RDP Manager. So RDP is the remote desktop protocol for Windows. So what we do is we add a security layer on top of Windows' native protocol. So we don't touch the protocol, we just add a security layer on top of it. So it monitors and secures remote sessions. So another requirement in the financial sector is if there's a remote session done, then logs need to be kept. So we take both the logs of session-wise, so remote session by session we keep logs. So it detects and protects against hacker attacks and their malware, so malicious intentions. So like I said, so this is a wrapper on top of RDP. And RDP Manager can also be used to monitor all remote access to all the PCs in the organization. So lastly, it tracks the login time, username, user local and public IP. So this is for the log maintenance for compliance. So I'll go through some new products and new features. So right now, the product that we're working on is security for email. So this is both, so like I said, so if you have Azure emails or emails on Outlook or G Suite or even your own SMTP server, so we'll have a security layer on top of that. So phishing and also malware engine. So every email, if the organization requires that every email be scanned for phishing probabilities, we'll do that. And the attachments will also be scanned for malware. So we're also investing heavily in data backup and associated products. So over the next few months, you'll hear more on the data backup side for our corporate products. And also we're working on so EDR and XDR. So this is more of a commercial phrase than not, but it basically is a better behavioral engine for anti-malware. So we're putting a lot of investment into a better behavioral and hash-based malware engine. And we're also working on Windows, so not just Windows, but Linux and Mac clients for all of our products. So I'll go very briefly over our Android products now. So mobile security for Android. So currently there is just an Android version. And this is a malware engine, so anti-malware engine for mobile. So very briefly, I'll go through what this does is, apart from all the native application monitoring and so on, we have a malware engine. And we're also adding the mobile security to our endpoint security software. So within, I think, the next month, so you can have organization level endpoint management for the mobiles also, not just Windows PCs. And over time, I think in about 3 or 6 months, we launched the Linux and Mac clients for both the endpoint Windows, so the laptop PCs and also mobiles. Okay, so that's it from my side. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. And also these are our social media links. So additionally, we've given each of you EduSafe Firewall product key. So if anyone hasn't received it, please let the desk know. Yeah, so and also there is a feedback form in front of everyone's desk. So if everyone's finished, we'll start picking it up later.
Hello, Mr. Aditya. Can you just tell me about how this RDP security is going to helpful for us?
So RDPs, so if you have frequent remote accesses from the SIRT's admin to the endpoints, so what we do is we just add a layer of security on top of it.
So you mean to say what we are doing? We are creating the VPN network, okay,
Yes.
and we are accessing the RDP.
Yes.
So in that case, this is not useful because you are also doing the same thing.
Right. So not just VPN. So we'll also add like a two-factor authentication on both sides. So the sysadmin and the endpoint has to acknowledge that there is an RDP session going, and once two-factor authentication happens on both sides, we let the session go. So certain things. So if you already are using your VPN, so that's fine. So you don't really require the secure RDP. But so there's just 2FA on top of it. So if you don't use a VPN, so we'll wrap the RDP network packets inside the encrypted VPN traffic and then do the RDP session on top of it.
Okay, thank you, friends. Thank you very much. We are running short of time, so
Yes.
We are having a very small break of 10 minutes. Those who have not registered, please ensure that you are registered, you have made the registration. Also collect your badges in case you have not collected. We are having very, very short break, 10 minutes. We'll start next session, our Evolve speaker, Mr. Manoj Kotak, on no-nonsense digital marketing. Please be back within 10 minutes. Thank you. Okay, in there. Please drop your feedback form with them, and end of the session we'll have a 10 lucky draws, and the prizes are okay, surprise. Okay. Thank you very much. Please be welcome back, everyone. Please take your seat. We'll be starting in 2 minutes. Thank you. And collect your food coupon, your dinner coupon. Requesting everyone to mark your attendance. Amit sir present, Jay sir present. अटेंडेंस मार्क नहीं करोगे तो डिनर कूपन नहीं मिलने वाला है. Can you ensure that everybody is inside? Thank you. Requesting everybody to put their mobile on silent mode, if possible on airplane mode. We'll be starting with a very, very interesting session. In 2 minutes. Thank you. We'll be starting with our Evolve speaker session. Today we have a very interesting session and a very, very interesting speaker. We have Mr. Manoj Kotak with us, who is a techie, a first generation entrepreneur, a consultant, a digital thought leader. He has represented Indian IT industry as part of Indian delegates to 18 countries, interacted with 1,400 international representatives from 60 countries, have conducted more than 120 sessions, training sessions for 10,000 plus businesses in 10 cities all over India. He's author of international acclaimed book Kotak's No Nonsense Digital Marketing, and that's the topic for today, no nonsense digital marketing. Please welcome Mr. Manoj Kotak. Thank you. All yours, sir. Thank you.
evening, everybody. I am also one of you. When I started my career at Leamington Road, I was assembling computers, though I am a commerce graduate. So I have very much known the marketing at that time. Now everything changed. So before I actually start my session, I want you to understand the research that I have gone through and being into computer industry from 1989. आवाज आ रही? I started learning computer, दो floppy वाले PC होते थे जब. So coincidentally everything is monitored very closely. When internet came to India in 1995, we used to have that 33.6 kbps के चीचू करने वाले modems. और MTNL की लाइन लेनी है आपको तो 1000 रुपये वाली को 6 महीना वेटिंग और 15,000 रुपये वाले को एक महीने में मिलता था. So from those days to these days, when everybody is having 1.5 GB data in their hand with 299 rupees a month. So what changed? Digital marketing करना है तो we have to understand physical to digital first. 1995, internet comes to India. Before Google there was Yahoo, Alta Vista, Lycos. हमारे उनसे काफ़ी जन जानते हैं, Hotbot. ऐसे search engines थे. Google was never the first, but they were always the best. 1998 they starts without advertisement, and in the year 2000, exactly after 5 years of internet, they started the paid advertising, which was also there by Yahoo and GoTo, Overture. But what was difference वो हम सीखेंगे. Exactly after 5 years, in 2004, Facebook launches. आपको ये ध्यान देना है और आप जाके चेक कर सकते हैं. Every 5 years में there is a digital, I call it as a destruction. People call it as an innovation. Exactly after 5 years, 2009, WhatsApp comes in. Exactly after 5 years, in 2014, Facebook acquires WhatsApp and nobody knows why. Because WhatsApp has no revenue. उसके बाद में 2016 Jio comes in and everything changed. In between, Google acquires YouTube, Facebook acquires Insta, and we are still using and remaining busy using this technology for destructive use than more of a constructive use. I'm about to start this session, but उसके आगे और एक statistic study करते हैं. They say that 80% of Indians are using smartphone. I'm running a company known as Image Online Private Limited. We are 60 people team. 18 hours a day minimum हम काम करते हैं. Constant upload download चालू होता है. With our fiber, we use 100 GB a month. So average employee is using 2 GB a month. जबकि average Indian is using 11 GB data a month. उसका मतलब वो 2.5 से 3 घंटा टाइम पास हो रहा है, either movie देखने पे या reels देखने पे या song सुनने पे या YouTube पे. So the danger part is if your consumer attention is diverted to his mobile, where you will go as an advertiser and advertise it. That's a big question. And at the end of this 90-minute session, we will have a more clarity कि हमको कहाँ जाके advertisement करना है, कैसे करना है, what is the right budget. इसकी grey side के साथ साथ में you can actually, after this session, knows where your audience is, exact audience. आप जो बेचते हैं उसका exact consumer कहाँ है, वो हमको देखना है. So with this I start this session. I always say that whatever is possible in offline world is possible in online world. That's not very interesting for people who are already into technology. But normally मैं जब session लेता हूँ तो अपनी first time plane में बैठते हैं, ऐसा कुर्सी tight पूरे लोग बैठते हैं कि ये कुछ technical है. But this session is not at all technical. We are going to correlate whatever we doing now with the new method of doing the same thing online digitally. इसका छोटा सा example ले. So long back, we used to go to our bank with passbook in our hand, and she used to take that red book, ledger book, and used to fill up the balance with the hand, and we used to keep reconciliation, second passbook at home. रात को मन हुआ तो हम देख नहीं सकते थे. Moving ahead, the computer comes in, they come out with the dot matrix printer, still you are going to the bank with the passbook, dot matrix. और आज भी cooperative bank में this is the same scenario. Later the nationalized bank and some private banks started showing you everything on mobile. So रात को 3 बजे भी मूड आता है कि इतना लाख रुपया पड़ा है, करोड़ रुपीस पड़ा है, we just switch on our mobile and see the balance. What changed? Only the method of checking the balance changed. Another message is also there that nothing is going to die, nothing is going to stay. ये मैं इसलिए बोलता हूँ कि it is too much of digital is not good. थोड़ा personal भी मिलना है. Zomato, Swiggy से order खाना करोगे but खाओ सो हाथ से ही. So ये नहीं करना है कि you are doing everything digital, but ये भी नहीं करना है कि you are doing only traditional or physical. So we will have to keep the balance 50-50. पहले वो शोकेस में डक होते थे, कापूस वाले जो लाल पानी पीते हैं. So you have to have balance both digital as well as traditional. We'll remain most of the time on this slide and we'll try to understand what really changed from traditional media to digital media. Earlier in those days when there were no phones and newspaper वगैरह चलते थे, टीवी पे एक छाया गीत आता था, संडे को एक मूवी होती थी, या रामायण महाभारत होता तो कर्फ्यू लगते और ज्वेलरी की दुकानें लूट ली जाती. ऐसे सिचुएशन वाले टाइम में हम जाएंगे. और इवन इफ यू कंपेयर विद टुडे, push marketing is still there. What do I mean by push marketing or a traditional marketing? The brand जिसके पास बहुत पैसा है, they will try to appear in your front of your eyes, your eyeballs, through hoardings, newspaper, TV, movie. बस के पीछे एयरपोर्ट पे जाएंगे तो everywhere you will see the branding message. So brand has a money. आपको ज़्यादा बार पूछेंगे, you will remember in your mind. जैसे कि अमिताभ बच्चन को लाना, कुछ मीठा हो जाए बोल देना, और आज हम कुछ मीठा हो जाए बोल देते हैं. पहले हम बोलते थे मिठाई खाते हैं, बहुत अच्छा हुआ, बट आज हम क्या बोलते हैं, कुछ मीठा हो जाए. सो ब्रांड हमारे माइंड के मैसेज को चेंज कर देती है. इंटरनेट आने के पहले व्हाट इज रनिंग इन योर माइंड इज नॉट इम्पॉर्टेंट. जो ब्रांड के पास ज़्यादा पैसा है वो आपको दिखता है. सो ट्रेडिशनल से डिजिटल कैसे चेंज हुआ, जो मैंने आपको 5-5 साल की जर्नी के बारे में बताया. सो वील कनेक्ट दैट डॉट्स एंड अंडरस्टैंड हाउ थिंग्स चेंज टू द 50% ऑफ द सेशन, एंड लेटर 50% ऑफ द सेशन we'll try to utilize what we have learned for doing the digital marketing. I also say that there is no free lunch. Every tool that you are using is absolutely free. Google free, YouTube free, Facebook free, WhatsApp free, Insta free, Gmail non-commercial free, Google Maps free. But actually there is no free lunch. वो हमको देखना है कि how they are earning. And are they earning for themselves or they are helping us also to earn? So Times of India comes in the morning. Being a Gujarati midday comes to my house in the morning. Economic Times रद्दी के जैसा पेपर आते हैं. Not like earlier कि आज की ताज़ा खबर. There is no ताज़ा खबर. It is all advertisement. And the paper comes in and then you start reading the ad. कोरोना के बाद में रियल एस्टेट की सबसे हालत ख़राब थी, तो you will see lots of real estate advertisement. Then you switch inside, you will see हीरो साइकिल भी होगा, टाटा की गाड़ी भी होगी, बाइक भी होगा, कैडबरी की ऐड होगी, जम्बा वड़ा पाव होगा. यू हैव नो क्लू वेदर यू आर इन अ मूड टू बाई बाइक टुडे और नॉट, बट देर इज अ कंपल्सरी ब्रांडिंग गोइंग ऑन. सो आप वो ऐड देख रहे हैं. इसके अलावा बहुत जन जो लोकल बिजनेस करते हैं वो सुबह बहुत हल्की क्वालिटी का ब्रोचर प्रिंट करते हैं. दे गो टू द न्यूज़पेपर डीलर, उसको 1000-1500 देते हैं और वो लीफलेट डाल देते हैं. सो एज सुन एज यू ओपन अप द पेपर यू सी लॉट ऑफ एडवर्टाइजमेंट. फिर हम ऑटो में बैठते हैं तो ऑटो के अंदर भी mouthsert.com, संगम सारीज की ऐड देखते हैं. व्हेन यू रीच रेलवे स्टेशन बड़े बड़े होर्डिंग हमारे सर पे आते हैं. मुश्किल से हम ट्रेन में खड़े हैं तो अमूल माचो और बाबा बंगाली की इलीगल ऐड देखते हैं. हम थिएटर में जाते हैं, 600 रुपये देते हैं, बट देन वी स्टिल सी दैट एडवर्टाइजमेंट आर पार्ट ऑफ फीचर फिल्म. ज़बरदस्ती. बाथरूम में जाते हैं, जेंट्स टॉयलेट में ऊपर भी ऐड है. बस के पीछे ऐड है, एयरपोर्ट में जाते हैं वहाँ ऐड है, फ्लाइट में बैठे हैं उसकी अगले वाली की सीट के पीछे ऐड है. So what here is there is ad. Sponsor will be unhappy if I say that. So whatever I am thinking right now is not what I am looking at. So ये एक गैप था कि जो हम सोच रहे हैं अगर उसकी ऐड देखने मिल जाए तो कैसा होगा. So now we jump onto the story of Google. Why we are jumping on the story of Google? Because before Google, Yahoo was a directory. Alta Vista was a directory, half manual, half spider. I remember because as I started business in 1995, we used to submit ad URL to Yahoo, and whether that site is listed or not, उसके लिए $149 देना पड़ता था. तभी डॉलर का भाव 50 रुपया था. तो आप इतना पैसा देने के बाद में if your site is listed, you will get an answer yes, and if you don't get answer within a week, 149 गया, you have to treat that answer as no. उसके बाद में दूसरे सर्च इंजन भी आए. सो नाउ गूगल, इस पे बहुत केयरफुली सुनना है व्हाट आई एम गोइंग टू से नाउ. गूगल ब्रदर्स पे जो लेरी ब्रदर्स से जिन्होंने इन्वेंट किया, उन्होंने बोला, सब एक कमरे में बैठ के उन्होंने बोला कि हम जो भी करेंगे सर्च करेंगे, सर्च के अलावा कुछ नहीं करेंगे. एंड दैट इज एब्सोल्युटली करेक्ट. दे ट्राइड ऑर्कुट like Facebook, they shut it off. They tried buying Motorola, Android of course, but आप उनका सबसे most popular product क्या है? Google search engine. Second best product is Gmail. उसमें भी हम क्या करते हैं, 15 GB दे दिया, लोग अपनी मशीन पे डाउनलोड ही नहीं करते, वहाँ पे भी मेल सर्च करते हैं. YouTube में हम क्या करते हैं, सर्च करते हैं. Google Maps में हम क्या करते हैं, सर्च करते हैं. तो एवरीथिंग इज ऑन सर्च. तो ये याद रखना है, जो भी करूँगा सर्च करूँगा, एंड सर्च के अलावा कुछ नहीं करूँगा. October 1998 I think they launched. 1998 Google launched, but October 2000 they launched the first advertisement program. From 1998 to October 2000 there was no ad ever on Google. Or even today, what you see on Google's page is nothing but no nonsense search हम बोलते हैं, क्योंकि there is only a search box. Earlier Yahoo में आपको सब दिखता था, वेदर दिखता था, प्राइम मिनिस्टर के मैसेज दिखते थे, स्टॉक के रेट्स दिखते थे, और सर्च बीच में होता था. गूगल में सर्च इज ऑन द सेंटर एंड नथिंग एल्स. एंड गूगल सेज whenever you search on Google, you will see that I found billions of search result in XXX seconds. So I am the accurate, I am the quick, I am the accurate, I am the quick. ऐसा लोगों के माइंड में बैठा. एकदम quietly 1998 to 2000, if there are 168 countries on internet, Google went there except China where they did not allow, and there is a Baidu. Every country has a google.in, google.us, google.uk, google.russia, google.xyz. all countries के डोमेन उन्होंने बुक किए, and they started spidering the data. wonderful algorithm जिसको हम डिनाई नहीं कर सकते. बाकी लोग मैन्युअल करते थे. ये any page which is in public domain is spidered by Google. and आप जब भी कुछ सर्च करते हो तो the exact search word is you been seen in a blue color or a bold. so मैंने जो मांगा वो मिला. and that is the time when अभी ये भी आपको सुनना है, buyer search the seller concept started. I am a buyer, I am looking to buy a 2 BHK flat in Mulund, and if I myself is telling Google that I want a 2 BHK flat in Mulund, and if I see Lodha or Oberoi, I am half sold, because I myself is telling that I am hungry, I want to eat jumbo vada pav. Google will tell you on map that jumbo vada pav यहाँ से 3 किलोमीटर है, डायरेक्शन डाल दिया तो दुकान में पहुँचा देगा. So whatever is running here in my mind is exactly when what I see. It's a wonderful technology, इसके ऊपर कुछ आ ही नहीं सकता है. But what was the game behind that? So around, I used to export ready-made web designing series all across the world. But हम खुद अभी नए नए थे तो local ज़्यादा बिकता था. So Google team came to my office for a testimonial, because initially before launching the whole Google AdWords जिसको बोलते हैं, दे केम टू माई ऑफिस मेकअप बैकअप करके हमारा टीवी इंटरव्यू लिया. तभी हम समझ नहीं पा रहे थे कि व्हाट इज द सो बिग अबाउट इट. बट देन वी रियलाइज दिस दैट ट्रिलियंस ऑफ सर्च एक सेकेंड के अंदर, बिकॉज यू आर देयर इन 168 कंट्रीज. होल कंट्रीज में सिर्फ गूगल 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 चल रहा था. 85% द ट्रैफिक दैट कम्स टू योर वेबसाइट इज कमिंग थ्रू गूगल. अभी हम क्या बोलते हैं? वी नेवर से गूगल इट, वी ऑलवेज से, वी नेवर से सर्च इट, वी ऑलवेज से गूगल इट. पहले हम क्या बोलते थे? प्योर घी है कि डालडा. बट नाउ व्हाट वी से? गूगल इट. हम सर्च इट नहीं बोलते. सो दैट मीन्स अब मोनोपोली हुआ. सो गूगल स्पाइडर नोज कि राइट नाउ कौन से कंट्री में कौन सा आदमी विच सर्विस और विच प्रोडक्ट को ढूंढ रहा है. एंड वो जब ढूंढ रहा है एंड तब आपको दिखा देगा तो यू आर अपसोल्ड. सो गूगल केम टू एडवर्टाइजर एंड दे सेड कि देखिए मेरे पास इतना सारा रिकॉर्ड्स है. इफ somebody is searching for ready-made website designing template and if I show your brand layout galaxy, how much will you pay? तो मैं बोला चलो ठीक है 20-25 हज़ार महीने का पे कर देंगे. तो बोले ठीक है. So they started this concept known as PPC, pay per click. You pay only when somebody clicks. और उसका CTR में click through ratio. When you are shown, when you are advertising impressed, you are not charged. But when somebody clicks, you are being charged. Pay per click. अभी आप सोचिए कि आज एक सेकेंड में ट्रिलियन सर्च होते हैं एंड CTR इज 3%. वो जमाने में 3% था, आप 10 है. CTR means click through ratio, the number of time ads been displayed versus number of time ads been clicked. तो अगर ट्रिलियंस ऑफ सर्च होते हैं, एवरेज 5 रुपया भी एक क्लिक का मिलता है. इंडिया में 5 रुपया, वहाँ पे डॉलर्स में, यूरोप में, यूरो में, ब्रिटेन में, पाउंड में. तो आप इमेजिन कर सकते हैं एक सेकंड में गूगल के पास कितना पैसा गिरता है. आर यू गेटिंग मी? टिल डेट वी आर क्लिकिंग एड्स. एवरी टाइम यू क्लिक एन एड, एडवर्टाइजर का पॉकेट से पैसा चले जाता है. तो कैसीनो, ऐसा कैसीनो में बटन लग गया कि वो ख़त्म ही नहीं हो रहा है. एंड इट वॉज सो ह्यूज दैट दे बॉट सैटेलाइट, दे बॉट मोटरोला, दे बॉट एवरीथिंग. और उन्होंने विजन आगे बढ़ाया कि अरे ये तो बहुत बढ़िया चीज़ है अगर ऐसे पैसा मिल रहा है. तो व्हाट इज़ द नेक्स्ट बेस्ट थिंग वेयर आई कैन अर्न मोर. व्हाट वाज द नेक्स्ट बेस्ट थिंग एट दैट टाइम? सबीर भाटिया यहाँ से गए थे, $195 देके उनको हॉटमेल का आइडिया आया था. मेरे को मालूम नहीं आज तक अनप सनप अमाउंट में माइक्रोसॉफ्ट ने उनको खरीद लिया और अभी वो किधर है वी डोंट नो. उन्होंने क्या कॉन्सेप्ट निकाला था कि मेल वाज ओनली गिवन बाय द सर्विस प्रोवाइडर. जैसे कि माय फर्स्ट ईमेल आईडी वाज ionline@bomb3.bsnl.net.in, बॉम्बे विदेश संचार निगम लिमिटेड नेटवर्क.इंडिया. मतलब शर्म आती थी किसी को इतना बड़ा ईमेल आईडी देने के लिए. और अभी हमारे प्राइवेट डोमेन है. सो तभी फ्री ईमेल का कॉन्सेप्ट बहुत चलता था. देयर वाज अ रेडिट मेल, देयर वाज अ याहू, ऑलरेडी देयर वाज अ हॉटमेल, बट नोबडी वाज गिविंग लाइक 100 MB और GBs. व्हाट गूगल डिड वाज, एंड रिमेंबर देयर इज नो फ्री लंच. व्हाट गूगल डिड वाज, एंड जो भी करूँगा सर्च करूँगा प्रिंसिपल वर्क्स हियर टू. सो गूगल ने बोला कि मैं इनको 10 ईमेल आईडी देता हूँ, एक अपने पास रखो, 9 दूसरे को दो. ओपन नहीं है, ओपन टू ऑल नहीं दो. ये आदमी भगवान बन गए सब. इनके पास जाके बोले सर मेरे को जीमेल आईडी दो, क्योंकि देयर वाज अ 15 GB फ्री. एंड तभी उसमें स्पैम नहीं आता था. तभी स्पैम वाज अ वेरी बिग कंसर्न. सो एवरीबडी वेंट्स टू वांटेड टू हैव जीमेल. अभी अलाउड नहीं है बिकॉज देन यूरोपियन यूनियन हैज क्रिएटेड अ प्राइवेसी इशू. बट आई नो दैट टाइम, एंड दिस इज अ एग्जांपल दैट आई ऑलवेज गिव. A boy from Pune goes to US for study. IT पढ़ाएं कुछ जाते हैं बच्चे, फिर वहाँ पे अच्छा लाइफस्टाइल देख के वहीं पसंद करते रहना. आते हैं इंडिया शादी करने के लिए. वो आता है, शादी करके वापस जाता है. अभी उसकी वाइफ को मोदक बनाना है एंड शी डोंट नो हाउ टू मेक अ मोदक. सो एज्यूमिंग शी इज राइटिंग अ मेल टू हर फ्रेंड इन इंडिया ऑन Gmail, हाउ कैन आई मेक अ मोदक, कैन यू सेंड मी रेसिपी एज आई एम इन न्यूयॉर्क एंड आई हैव नो अदर हेल्प. सो गूगल जो भी करूँगा सर्च करूँगा, सर्च के अलावा कुछ नहीं करूँगा. वो जब मेल वापस आती है तभी राइट हैंड साइड पे लिखा होता है गेट मोदक इन न्यूयॉर्क फॉर $5. वो मैडम क्लिक कर देती है, मिठाई वाले का कुछ कट जाता है, मैडम का पैसा बच जाता है और गूगल को भी कुछ मिलता है. सो वी से www win win win, एंड दैट इज द नेक्स्ट बेस्ट अर्निंग दैट गूगल गेटिंग स्टार्टेड फ्रॉम देयर. यहाँ तक क्या कॉन्सेप्ट था? बायर शर्ट द सेलर. अभी आप मैप में जब देखते हैं तो आपको एडवर्टाइजमेंट दिखती है, आजू बाजू की होटल दिखती है, आप अगर ये होटल का नाम देंगे तो इस होटल का आज का रेट क्या है डेली वो दिखता है. सो पॉसिबली कि आगे चल के वो गूगल बोलेगा कि मैप पे $10 का डिस्काउंट दे दो तो बुकिंग आपका ज़्यादा होएगा. सो व्हेन यू आर क्रॉसिंग फ्रॉम लोनावाला, आज लंच टाइम है तो आपको फरियाज होटल से मैसेज आएगा. अपनी लोकेशन सर्विस ऑन रखा है आपने, पॉसिबल है. सो दिस इज हाउ. सो यू माइट बी वरिंग और थिंकिंग कि ये आदमी उधर क्यों बता रहा है. Normally I don't allow my recording because I am not talking about Google's other side, but if I know that side, I'll be able to advertise my product in a better way. So ये generation चला 2004 तक, एक चक्री मोनोपोली गूगल की, because तभी आपको प्रोडक्ट भी सर्च करना है, आप कहाँ सर्च करते थे? There was no Amazon. आप कहाँ सर्च करते थे? गूगल पे. आईफोन का रेट चाहिए, गूगल पे. प्रोडक्ट चाहिए, सर्विस चाहिए, गूगल पे. एंड एवरी टाइम गूगल ने पहले क्या किया, लेफ्ट हैंड साइड पे 10 रिजल्ट्स आते थे, 20 रिजल्ट्स आते थे. एंड राइट हैंड साइड पे छोटे छोटे 8 बॉक्स आते थे जिसको हम बोलते थे 25, 35, 35. यू आर अलाउड टू ओनली हैव एन एडवर्टाइजमेंट ऑफ 25 कैरेक्टर, 35 कैरेक्टर, 35 कैरेक्टर, उससे ऊपर नहीं. हम SMS को रिस्ट्रिक्शन होता था, हमारे ज़माने में पेजर को रिस्ट्रिक्शन होता था, तो हम टू द पॉइंट मैसेज लिखते थे ना. तो टू द पॉइंट मैसेज लिखने से द कंज्यूमर नोज, बिकॉज गूगल वांट एक्यूरेसी, गूगल वांट फास्ट. तो तभी ऐड के फॉर्मेट भी छोटे हुआ करते थे. नाउ कम्स 2004. नाउ द कॉन्सेप्ट इज रेपिडली चेंजिंग एंड फेसबुक वॉज नॉट द फर्स्ट. उसके पहले माइस्पेस था, और कुछ था, बट तभी स्मार्टफोन नहीं थे, फोन में कैमरा नहीं थे. हमारे पास वो कोनिका वाले कैमरा होते थे, नेगेटिव पॉजिटिव वाले. कोनिका के स्टोर में वो बाहर दिखता था, फिर वो प्लास्टिक के एल्बम में डाल के देता था, फिर फ्लैट बेड स्कैनर पे हम स्कैन करते थे, फिर वो रेजोल्यूशन आई है तो उसको ऑप्टिमाइज करते थे, तब जाके फोटो नेट पे चढ़ती थी. बिकॉज आई स्टार्टेड बिजनेस इन 1995, तो आई नो कि कितना तकलीफ होता है एक फ़ोटो चढ़ाना. अब तो लोग पान बीड़ी पे सेल्फी निकाल के अपलोड करते. फेसबुक स्टार्टेड एज हिज फाइट विथ अ गर्लफ्रेंड. सोशल नेटवर्किंग करके मूवी आपको टाइम मिले तो देखना है. फ्राइडे नाइट है, लोग अपने यूनिवर्सिटी के मज़े कर रहे हैं, बियर के टेबल पे झगड़ा हो जाता है और वो ब्रेकअप हो जाता है. ये गुस्सा होता है, अपने रूम पे आता है, he hacks the database of other female students in the university, takes one of the photograph and अपनी गर्लफ्रेंड की फ़ोटो लगाता है और बोलता है वो इज़ हॉट करके सो जाता है. सर्वर पे लोड बढ़ता है, उसको लैंडलाइन पे फ़ोन आता है एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर को कि लोड क्यों बढ़ रहा है रात को, तो फ्राइडे नाइट है, कुछ है ही नहीं. और दूसरे दिन उसको 15 दिन के लिए रेस्टिगेट कर दिया जाता है और वहाँ से ये बहुत ही डेंजरस टूल का शुरुआत होता है. नाउ फेसबुक में आप डालते हो अपना नाम क्या है, आपका सेक्स क्या है, आपकी शादी हुई कि नहीं, कितने बच्चे हैं, कौन सी स्कूल पढ़ाई की, कौन से कॉलेज में पढ़ाई की, कौन से दिन को कौन से टर्मिनल से कहाँ फिरने गए, गाड़ी ली तो चाबी लेते हुए फ़ोटो डाली, घर लिया तो फ़ोटो डाला, जो होटल में खाना खाया उसको टैग करके डाला. सो यू आर टेलिंग एवरीथिंग टू फेसबुक एंड द फेसबुक इज गिविंग दिस डेटा टू यू एज एन एडवर्टाइजर सो दैट अ सेलर कैन सर्च द बायर. गूगल के टाइम पे क्या था, बायर कैन सर्च द सेलर, नो सेलर कैन सर्च द बायर. ये कॉन्सेप्ट आ गया और एडवर्टाइजर को मालूम पड़ गया तो बहुत मजा आएगा. हम आगे चले के देखेंगे कि फेसबुक कैसे काम करता है. And I always say that Facebook is not developed by technologists, it is developed by psychologists. आप खुद टेक्निकल फील्ड के हैं सो मेरे को ज़्यादा इजी होगा, बट जो हम टेक्नोलॉजी यूज़ करते हैं, अगर यही टेक्नोलॉजी को समझ के मार्केटिंग में यूज़ करेंगे तो बहुत ही डिफरेंट बॉल गेम होगा. फेसबुक आ गया, फेसबुक का रेवेन्यू आज तक क्या है, इट इज़ फ्री फॉर एवरीवन. Now the question comes, why Facebook acquires WhatsApp? किसी ने सोचा है WhatsApp का रेवेन्यू क्या है? मेरे को भी नहीं पता, but I'm assuming. हम पहले फॉरेन जाते थे तो एयरपोर्ट से मैट्रिक्स का कार्ड लेके चलते थे और 40, 50, 60 हज़ार भी लाता था. अब हम फॉरेन जाते हैं तो सिम कार्ड अपना इंडियन निकाल के कागज़ के पुड़के में डाल के पॉकेट में रख देते हैं. और फिर हम क्या करते हैं, जैसे एयरपोर्ट पे उतरते हैं, इमिग्रेशन के बाद में $10 का डेटा प्लान ढूंढते हैं. ब्रेथलेस फील करते हैं बिकॉज फ़ोन ही नहीं है, और सीधा वीडियो कॉल लगा के वाइफ को बोलते हैं मैं पहुंच गया। $10 का डेटा प्लान में आपका काम हो गया। पहले मैं जब एंगेजमेंट हुई हमारी तब घर पे फ़ोन नहीं थे, तो मेरे को बाजू वाले आंटी ₹1 इनकमिंग का बोलती थी, तो अभी ISD STD बूथ तो ख़त्म हो गए बिकॉज एवरीथिंग वर्क्स ऑन अ डेटा। So possibly assuming that WhatsApp is telling all the service provider that out of 100 crores of data that I've sold, 33 crores of data is being used on WhatsApp. So kindly give me something so that your WhatsApp, your service, your consumer also get the, so that is the revenue, because उसके अलावा WhatsApp का कोई रेवेन्यू ही, जब उन्होंने Facebook को दे दिया तब उन्होंने एग्रीमेंट किया है कि इट विल रिमेन दी एड फ्री, एंड इट इज स्टिल डेट एड फ्री. So question comes in, why Facebook acquires WhatsApp? 80% Indians are using smartphone. We say that, we agree that. So there are two type of consumers or users. जैसे हम लोग कंप्यूटर वाले प्राउडली बोलते हैं कि मैं मेरे पॉकेट में पेन भी नहीं रखता हूँ, आई एम कंप्लीटली डिजिटल. सो माई वाइफ इज टीचर, और फिर टर्न टू ब्यूटिशियन. तो मैं उसको लैपटॉप लेके दिया नहीं जमा, टैबलेट लेके दिया नहीं जमा. वो बोले लैपटॉप में स्टार्ट शट डाउन नहीं समझता है, टैबलेट में ये कमांड नहीं समझते, करना नहीं समझता है. बट व्हाट्सएप में सी टीचर्स में कि अभी सिर्फ डीपी पे नहीं बट स्टेटस पे डालो तो मल्टीपल फोटो डाल सकते हो. सो देयर इज अ बिग चंक ऑफ ऑडियंस वो ओनली रिफर व्हाट्सएप एज अ गॉड. अपने नाना नानी, दादा दादी, झाड़ू वाला, रिक्शा वाला, दूध वाला, सब्जी वाला, विद ड्यू रिस्पेक्ट टू देयर प्रोफेशन, देयर इज अ बिग ऑडियंस विच इज यूजिंग व्हाट्सएप मोर देन यू एंड मी. एंड फेसबुक अकाउंट खोलने के लिए यू नीड अ ईमेल आईडी. व्हाट्सएप अकाउंट खोलने के लिए यू नीड ओनली OTP एंड स्मार्टफोन. व्हाट्सएप पे आ गया कि आज थाना में अर्थक्वेक हुआ, तो व्हाट्सएप मानने वाले बोलेंगे आज थाना में अर्थक्वेक हुआ. वो ना टीवी देखेंगे, ना पेपर पढ़ेंगे, ना बाहर जाके पूछेंगे, बट उनके हिसाब से व्हाट्सएप पे आया तो वो हुआ. सो दैट वरीड फेसबुक कि अगर मेरे से नंबर ऑफ यूजर अगर वहाँ बढ़ जाते हैं, बिकॉज यू डोंट नीड एनी एजुकेशन ऑफ IT, ओनली अ थंब, स्मार्टफोन, OTP. लोग वीडियो उतार देते हैं, लोग अपने मैसेज, अभी वीडियो कॉलिंग के अलावा जमता ही नहीं किसी को. सो दैट इज वाई फेसबुक एक्वायर्स व्हाट्सएप. अभी ये सब बेल होते होते हमको आगे चल के ये समझना है कि माई कंज्यूमर यूजिंग, आई नो कि कंज्यूमर इज सर्चिंग मी. I also know that I can search consumer, buyer search the seller, seller can search also the buyer, but how? And what is the harm if they are earning? We don't have any harm. But harm is your consumer is not paying attention to any good media. अभी जैसे OTT प्लेटफॉर्म आने के बाद में लोगों के घर में से टीवी केबल निकाल दिया गया है. वो स्पेन की सीरियल देखते हैं, कोरिया की सीरियल देखते हैं, कहाँ की सीरियल देखते हैं, वो अपनी सीरियल देखते नहीं है. अभी हीरो हीरोइन का जमाना, जब हम अमिताभ बच्चन की मूवी आती थी तो वो नेपाली वॉचमैन डंडे मारता था और ब्लैक में लगता था और फर्स्ट डे फर्स्ट डे इनकी क्या मजा आता था. बट अभी नो हीरो इज फेमस नाउ, दिस इन्फ्लुएंसर्स आर मोर फेमस एंड द OTT स्टार्स आर इमर्जिंग अप. सो थिंग्स आर चेंजिंग वेरी फास्ट. मोजरबेर करके इंडस्ट्री था CD का, दैट इंडस्ट्री इज गॉन आउट. म्यूजिक इंडस्ट्री गॉन आउट टोटल. आज हम म्यूजिक का पैसा देते हैं, नहीं तो हम 600 रुपये की एक मूवी की सुनते. So it's a lot of destruction, lot of innovation, but there is a lot of destruction too. So now, after understanding this, and I'm not saying that you bring everything digital, but if you're not into digital, start applying some digital touch, starting with marketing, to operations, to support, soda thoda. But if you see this example, we call it as a digital first world. I was talking about music just before a minute. So कैरेवान करके सारेगामा इंडस्ट्री वाले ने जो रेडियो टाइप स्टोरेज निकाली थी इन द वर्ल्ड ऑफ इंटरनेट. उनके पास जो म्यूज़िक की रॉयल्टी थी और बिना का गीत माला अमीन साइनी बहनों भाइयों बोलते थे तो लोगों के दिल में आवाज़ हिल जाती थी, वो उन्होंने एक डब्बे में डाला प्लास्टिक का और 699 से शुरू किया, 1399 तक गए और म्यूज़िक का 120 करोड़ का देश में से अगर 1 करोड़ लोगों ने भी वो डब्बा ले लिया है, उसका एडवांटेज था 6000 सॉन्ग थे, पूरी बिना का गीत माला थी, आप किधर खंडा लगी पहाड़ी पे बैठे हो जहाँ इंटरनेट नहीं चलती, कार के बोनेट पे लगा लिया, जो पीना पी लिया और म्यूज़िक सुन लिया। 6000 सॉन्ग का 6000 तो 1 रुपया कॉस्ट हुआ। सो जो म्यूज़िक डब्बे में पड़ा था उसको डिजिटल टच देके व्हाट दे हैव डन इज एनकेस द रॉयल्टी विच वाज डाइंग। Amazon started as what? Book selling company. They realized कि आगे चल के प्रिंटिंग खत्म हो रहा है। I am also from a printing industry. My another field is printing. हम ऑनलाइन प्रिंटिंग में हैं। They realized printing is dying, so they invented a Kindle. And if you have seen Kindle, it's a paper white. They call it as a paper white. मेरा first slide था whatever is possible in offline world is possible in online. So those are book lovers. हार्ड कोट कवर होता है, वो अपनी चेस्ट पे रख के सोते हैं और ऐसे करके पेज हिलाते हैं और वो अंदर वाइट एंड ब्लैक एंड वाइट होता है। Am I right? So Amazon researched, अभी किंडल का बैटरी चलता है 1.5 महीना, उसका वजन है सिर्फ 50-70-80 ग्राम। मैंने रात को सो के भी अंगूठे पे नहीं आएगा, बीवी सो गई तो उसको डिस्टर्ब नहीं होगा, इतनी रेंज में लाइट आती है। और उसमें वाईफाई वाला वर्जन लिया तो एयरपोर्ट पे कोई भी बुक डाउनलोड कर सकते हो ख़त्म हो गई तो, और उसमें 2000 बुक स्टोर कर सकते हो। जब फ्लाइट वालों ने इतना परेशान करके रखा था कि लोग अपने कपड़े कम लेके जाते थे तो बुक कहाँ से लेके जाएंगे वजन की वजह से। सो दे रियलाइज दिस एंड दे स्टार्टेड चार्जिंग लेस फॉर डिजिटल एडिशन, मोर फॉर प्रिंट, क्योंकि कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रिंटिंग सेव्ड। अब उल्टा करते जा रहे हैं क्योंकि आदत हो गई। ओला उबेर ने आपको पहले 25 रुपये में यहाँ से यहाँ लेके दिया और अब 4 जन बैठते हैं तो भी अकेला जाने से महंगा होता है। सो डिजिटल फर्स्ट वर्ल्ड इज दिस। डोंट इन्वेस्ट इन मशीनरी, डोंट इन्वेस्ट इन फैक्ट्री, इन्वेस्ट ओनली इन टेक्नोलॉजी। ओला उबेर की एक भी टैक्सी नहीं है, ओयो होटल का एक भी रूम नहीं, उसने होटल इंडस्ट्री की सत्यानाश कर डाली। Booking.com नहीं, सॉरी, एयरबीएनबी का एक भी रूम नहीं है, रूम आपके मेरे। अलीबाबा का एक भी गोडाउन नहीं है, अमेजोन की एक भी दुकान नहीं है। सो दिस इज द डिजिटल फर्स्ट वर्ल्ड। सो वी कैन नॉट कम टू डिजिटल फर्स्ट वर्ल्ड बिकॉज वी आर ऑलरेडी ट्रेडिशनल फर्स्ट वर्ल्ड। तो उसमें से हमको डिजिटल कहाँ यूज़ करना है वो समझना है।